of 24, it will be equivalent to the road infrastructure of USA.
We have now entered the growth phase. And I believe that the growth rate in India is going to be exponential.
Two narratives of Indian story which need to be brought center stage.
Every week, the India story will bring the most incisive analysis, the most authoritative voices.
India will be a significant pole in the universe of AI going forward.
India is walking tall, India's stature is different, India's voice is being heard.
And the biggest newsmakers.
This is just a start. Tokyo, we won one bronze. Paris, we won a rocket.
Good to see that, women cricket is getting more excited and everybody is looking up to that.
And these stories need to be told, and they are guided by the
Hi everyone, welcome to WION Live Broadcast with me, Susan Tehrani, coming to you from New York City. First, let's take a look at the latest stories making headlines this hour. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was joined by senior Russian and Chinese delegates as he displayed his most powerful nuclear-capable missiles in a military parade marking a major war anniversary. Former President Donald Trump is facing accusations that he and aides asked the staffer to delete camera footage at his Florida estate in an effort to obstruct the classified documents investigations. Nigeria State TV names new leader General Omar Chiani, who is the commander of the Presidential Guards and led the coup against President Mohamed Bazoum. Environmental ministers from G20 nations meeting in India race against time to reach a last-minute consensus on the most contentious issues to redress the global climate crisis. AstraZeneca chief executive says the company is very encouraged by interim data from a key lung cancer drug trial. The legal woes of President Donald Trump continues. The former president, who is the Republican frontrunner in the presidential elections race next year, has been charged with 3 new felony charges, which also include claims that he asked an employee of his Mar-A-Lago club to destroy security camera footage. In a 60-page indictment unveiled, prosecutors accused Trump of possessing a highly classified war plan, which he shared with people lacking security clearances months after his presidency ended. The 3 new federal charges leveled by the prosecutors include additional count of willful retention of secret documents and 2 counts of obstructing the ongoing investigation in the case. Trump's personal aide, Walton Nota, who is already a defendant in the case, has also been charged with 2 counts of obstruction. Meanwhile, an employee at Trump's Mar-a-Lago house has been slapped with federal charges. Trump, Nota, and maintenance worker Carlos de Oliveira have been accused of evading officials looking for the documents, but conspiring to delete surveillance footage at Mar-a-Lago. Special counsel Jack Smith brought the charges of willful retention against Trump by citing one of his interviews at his New Jersey golf resort. Smith said that, quote, Trump could be heard bragging about a plan of attack against another country. Trump now faces 32 counts of willfully retaining national defense information under the Espionage Act and 8 counts related to alleged efforts to obstruct the investigation. The former U.S. president has dismissed the charges, describing them as another attempt by the Biden administration to score political gains. Okay, for more on this, we are now being joined by Mark Marowitz from New York. Mark is a political commentator and also a professor at State University of New York Maritime College. Mark, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Here we are again, Donald Trump, another indictment by Jack Smith. They are really trying to get this obstruction charge moving ahead because it's one of the most serious leveled against the former president. But as a lawyer yourself, how difficult is this path?
Well, I looked over the indictment somewhat. I didn't read it all, but I have the gist of it. And it's an indictment, and it would have to be proved, but it is somewhat formidable. It makes, but again, it connects a lot of dots. In other words, it alleges that the Oliveira is saying, or Nauda Oliveira is saying, the boss wants you to delete the server in a conversation with the IT guy, and the IT guy says, I don't think I can do that, and it didn't happen. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that would need to be tied together. But if true, it's quite significant. Also, the willful retention that you spoke about, I mean, before there was a question whether the paper that President Trump was holding up was actually a military document related to Iran. And now, in fact, the government has been able to apparently locate that document. And in the indictment, they cite, not classified specifics, but the overall nature of the documents, in particular the document that he was holding and showing allegedly to other people. So this is, I think it's quite strong. It appears as in the indictment. Again, it would all have to be proved. But the point is that as these various indictments and target letters add up, the anomaly is that his numbers and the poll numbers seem to improve. But it's almost like I would liken it to, I don't know, a glass of water filling up with water, and the last drop, I mean, it keeps accumulating. And there gets a point where people might, that is to say, independents and moderates and others might think that, there's a point at which it's too much. I don't know if we're there, but we're getting there, I think, possibly, where the other candidates in the Republican Party can't move forward because of Trump. And we're coming up in August, actually, to the Republican. I think there's going to be a debate. Is Trump going to show up? I mean, Chris Christie says he's definitely going to show up. Is he going to show up? If he shows up, that's going to be an important interaction among the Republican candidates if they want to move forward.
So Trump said in an interview this morning that he's not going to end his presidential campaign if convicted. He made similar comments during an interview before as well. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, it's not just Trump. You see on the Democrat side as well, President Biden and his son Hunter seem to be torpedoing the elections as well, considering the fact that, Hunter has all these legal problems and whether Biden himself is involved or not, and all the air is being sucked out of campaigning, as you rightly noted, by other candidates. But then there is that notion, and I want to talk to you about this, that while this may seem political in the eyes of a lot of people, and they want to get Trump, they want to convict him, but at the end of the day, the Democrats, notably the Biden camp, would want nothing more than to have Donald Trump as an opponent on the Republican side, because frankly, they don't think they would win against anyone else.
Well, it's kind of like the old proverb, be careful what you wish for. This is playing out in a very, I think, unpredictable, unexpected way, as you say, where both sides seem to have formidable legal problems, yet if you ask the public perception, it is that Trump is going to face Biden in 2024. How amazing is that? How is American politics able to function where it cannot produce a real array of candidates on the Democratic side, on the Republican side, and really have that, them contending for this position. I mean, it really is a very sad and sorry commentary on American politics that we cannot come up with a more robust array of competing candidates to discuss the issues, and that all we're talking about are the legal woes of these candidates. And as you rightly point out, it is possible that before the election, looks like at least one of these cases is going to move forward before the election, that would have an ex-president being actually convicted and possibly, serving time. But we actually have a precedent of that because Eugene V. Debs, the socialist candidate for president, actually was in jail when running for president and got 1 million votes in that election. So we've actually had that before. Have it again. That's all I'm saying, because obviously that would be upending and very disturbing to the American political system. The whole idea of a president, first of all, being indicted is very shocking in a federal case, state case, but to actually convict the president, I mean, this is something very, very shocking. Also, the possibility that Trump could be reelected president. And that's another one that's just one for the books, one for the ages. What does it mean? I mean, our political system, we have an ex-president who's been impeached twice and has numerous indictments. I mean, gee whiz, not convicted in the Senate because that's politics, but still the American political system persists, but it's really getting a tremendous workout, and hopefully it will prevail, clearly.
Yeah, we're hoping for that, as it has for many, many hundreds of years. Mark, we can talk to you about this for hours, but I have to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
More questions emerge over the death of a former U.S. President Barack Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell. Days after Campbell was found dead near the family's home, Massachusetts State Police now say that Tafari was perhaps not alone. However, the police refused to name the person he was with, as per the report by a Daily Mail. The 45-year-old chef's body was recovered from the Edgartown Great Pond on July 24th. As for the timeline of events, at 7:46 p.m., a 911 call was made to report that Campbell had fallen in the pond and could not make it back to the surface. Even though the call was noted in Edgartown Police Department's log, the reason behind it was left noticeably blank. As per the Daily Mail, the reason for every other call made that night was given. Meanwhile, there were a swarm of activities recorded in the neighborhood after that 911 call. On the night of the incident at 11:40 p.m., a neighbor and a nearby resident suffered a medical emergency, but the 911 call made to the Edgartown police came from Wilson's Landing, which is over 2 miles away from the Obama residence. And even though the 911 call was made around 7:46 p.m., the police did not recover Campbell's body until the following day at around 10 a.m. The state police also reported that at the time of the incident, former U.S. President Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle, were out of the house. However, the whereabouts of Obama's daughters, Sasha and Malaya, remain unclear. Recovered 100 feet from shore in around 8 feet of water, authorities report that Campbell did not suffer any external trauma injuries. And as per officials, the result of toxicology tests carried out during his autopsy have not yet been returned. Meanwhile, various, as some call conspiracy theorists, are doing their rounds on social media. Some tweets claim that Campbell was a good swimmer. Others are pointing to the aspect that his body was found only at a depth of 8 feet when he knew how to swim and had a paddleboard with him too. Our next story is from Russia. It's about treason that seems to have been forgiven now. Yes, we're talking about the Yevgeny Prigozhin saga, founder of Russia's Wagner private military company. More than a month after leading a brief mutiny against Russia, he's back in the country, and if pictures are to be believed, he's not being treated as a traitor. Prigozhin was seen in St. Petersburg. He was photographed meeting an African dignitary on the sidelines of the Russia-Africa summit. The dignitary is part of the Central African Republic delegation to the summit. The Wagner Group is long known to have a presence in the country. The place where photographs were taken is a hotel where, according to Russian media, the Wagner chief has been allowed to retain an office. The hotel was one of the locations searched by Russian authorities on July 6th. The raid was conducted following Wagner chief's rebellion last month. The Wagner Group turned against the Russian Defense Ministry months after fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine. The Wagner chief accused Russian Defense Ministry of poor treatment of his forces on the battlefield. He hence launched a march for justice towards Moscow last month after taking over military facilities in southern Russian city. Under a deal negotiated by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, Wagner chief was granted asylum in Belarus. Russia agreed to drop all treason charges against the Wagner Group, but the Russian media, including the state media, continued to brand him as a traitor. And now the so-called traitor is meeting Putin's guests in the same city as himself. Why, you may ask? The Wagner Group has long worked in the shadows around the world, notably in Africa. The private Russian military company holds influence in area as far, not only Africa, but Syria as well. And in essence, Russia commanded influence in these areas through the Wagner Group. And Putin seems to be in dire need of influence and allies in Africa at the moment. Countries like Mali, Central African Republic, Libya, and others in the Sahel region have actively drifted away from Western influence in recent years. It's Russia's time to make inroads there, which the Russian president cannot compromise, even for a traitor.
Россия в лице официальных кругов бизнеса, общественности.
Okay, moving on Thursday, China said that it opposed malicious hype concerning this week's removal of Foreign Minister Qin Gang. Beijing continues to avoid questions about the senior diplomat's disappearance. The mystery is deepening, however, and some articles removed from the Foreign Ministry website has now reappeared. Qin was removed from office by Beijing's top lawmaking body on Tuesday after just 207 days on the job. The removal came after weeks of speculation that the former ambassador to the United States and confidant of President Xi Jinping had fallen out of favor. Soon after, any reference to the 57-year-old Qin was removed from the website of China's foreign ministry. A search for his name yielded no results, and previous articles about his diplomatic appearance showed a message saying the page does not exist or has been deleted. But now some references to him that had previously been scrubbed from the Foreign Ministry's website are starting to reappear. The last report is from June 25th, when he met his Vietnamese counterpart in Beijing. A report about Qin's meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also reappeared, having been temporarily removed. It is unclear why the Foreign Ministry has gone back and forth. Qin has been replaced as foreign minister by top diplomat Wang Yi. China remained tight-lipped for weeks about the fate of Qin, who has not been seen in public since June 25th, when he met Russia's deputy foreign minister in Beijing. The ministry's silence led to an explosion of rumors online, some of which claimed the diplomat's alleged affairs with a prominent TV anchor had landed him in hot waters. Originally from the northeastern city of Tianjin, Qin frequently rubbed shoulders with Xi in an earlier role as chief of the foreign ministry's protocol department. His promotion over more experienced candidates, first to U.S. ambassador and then China's number 2 diplomat, was attributed to the trust between him and Xi directly. The sudden fall of the so-called wolf warrior diplomat shows no official is immune in Chinese politics, no matter how close they are to the leader.
合理增长。
So Scientists have long known that some organisms are able to hit pause on life to survive harsh environments. However, this time, scientists woke up a 46,000-year-old roundworm from a Siberian permafrost. It seems the time-traveling worm has broken all dormancy records. The female microscopic roundworm spent 46,000 years in suspended animation. After being revived, the worm started producing babies in a laboratory dish. Scientists reveal it to be a new species organism that inhabits the soil, the water, and the ocean floor as well. The nematode was found in a gopher hole excavated at least 130 feet below the surface. Scientists used radiocarbon dating to determine that the soil was 46,000 years old.
This all started when our Russian colleagues dug up a bit of permafrost for their studies, and they found that after thawing this, some nematodes crawled out of it. So they knew that this piece of soil had been frozen for a very long time, and then used radiocarbon dating later to determine that it's actually been frozen for 46,000 years. And when they dug it up, they took all measures they could to not introduce any contamination from the outside, so no species crawling in or anything. So they have a very good reason to believe that everything that's coming out of this patch of soil was frozen for 46,000 years.
The original nematode is no longer alive, but scientists have continued to raise more than 100 generations from the single worm. The species produces without a mate through a process called parthenogenesis. It is shocking to note that the normal lifespan of the 46,000-year-old nematode species is just 1 to 2 months. So the ongoing Hollywood strikes now have a new victim, and this time it's the 2023 Emmy Awards. This year's annual ceremony, the 75th edition, which was scheduled to air on September 18th, has been postponed as writers and actors continue to strike in Hollywood and beyond. The postponement affects not just Primetime Emmys, but also the Creative Arts Emmys Award, which were supposed to air on September 9th and 10th. An official new date for the ceremony hasn't been announced yet. However, reports say that the event might be rescheduled to January of 2024. Writers have always played an important role in orchestrating the Emmy ceremony, but they, along with the showrunners, have not been participating in any promotion during the strikes in order to not cross picket lines. Primetime Emmys aren't the only function that has been affected by the strike. Daytime Emmys, which were set to air in June, were also postponed indefinitely. Even the MTV Movie and TV Awards aired a pre-taped hostless show in May due to the WGA planning to picket the ceremony. The news of the delay, though entirely expected, is sure to cast a long shadow over the Emmy hopefuls this year. Bronny James, son of NBA legend LeBron James, has been discharged from hospital in Los Angeles. The 18-year-old suffered cardiac arrest while training on Monday. Bronny collapsed on the court while practicing with his team at the University of Southern California, and he was initially in the ICU before being listed as stable. The Cedars-Sinai Medical Center said in a statement that Bronny had been successfully treated and is resting at home. His father took to social media to post a message of thanks and share an update on his son's health. He tweeted that his family is safe and healthy. 38-year-old LeBron James also thanked fans for sending their love and best wishes for his son. Bronny was due to begin his college basketball career with USC this fall, but it is unclear right now when he will return to action. LeBron James has said in the past that it is his dream to play with his son in the NBA. Thank you so much for staying with us and watching WION Live Broadcast from New York City. I'm Susan Tehrani signing off. I'll see you Monday, same time, same place, but don't go away. A lot more news and headlines coming up only on WION. World is One. Have a great weekend.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at WION.com.
It's easy to tell you a flat story. It's easy to show you what's happening around the world. We do the difficult part.
This weapon has been banned, but the US, Ukraine and Russia do not find the bombs problematic.
We also tell you why what's happening.
New drug is making a difference in the fight against Alzheimer's. This medicine helps slow down a patient's cognitive decline.
We look beyond the text. We give you context.
Is China preparing for a war in the Himalayas? And tonight, we come to you with some proof.
Hypocrisy is stunning.
Do leaders mean what they say? Do they ever say what they mean? To find out how real news affects you, your decisions.
Just when Iran took one step in the right direction, its moral police is planning to drag it further back. And once again, the victim will be women.
Watch Gravitas.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in.
We don't impose our views.
Did India threaten to ban Twitter? Either that or Jack Dorsey is lying to you.
That is Gravitas. We let life breathe through our show. Gravitas, the informed show for an intelligent audience.
Hi, I'm Alison LaGrange, and you're watching E-Club. Here are the nominees for Achievement in Music.
People are totally wrong who keep telling me that, oh, you're a multitasker. I'm not.
Awards and fashion shows are in full swing.
Seeing a young, black man, directing a feature film, I saw myself in him.
Engage with us. Let us know what you'd like to see on the show and celebrities that you'd like us to feature.
You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. You don't know how to bring the salmon back up a dead stream. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. And you can't bring back the forest that once grew where there is now a desert.
You have ignored us in the past and you will ignore us again. We have run out of excuses and we are running out of time.
Show us your faithfulness. Show us your trustworthiness. Show us your honesty. Prove us wrong. We desperately need you to prove us wrong. God help us all if you fail to prove us wrong. God help us.